Welcome. You are tuned into Municipal Focus. My name is Kevin Tocci, and I will be your host for this segment. What is Municipal Focus? Well, it gives us an opportunity to speak with folks in and around the communities that we serve, Whitman and Hanson. Maybe we have a chance to speak with folks who are in certain departments of town government. It also gives us an opportunity to speak with folks on other levels of government, whether it's county government or state government. Today, we are very privileged. We're in the historic Whitman Town Hall, and we are going to be speaking with Mary Beth Carter and Kathleen Keefe. They are if you live in Whitman, your town administrator and your assistant town administrator. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for allowing me the privilege to be able to interview you, sit down and kind of have a conversation, talk a little bit about town government, how you first started out here in Town Hall, and where you're at today. We'll start with you, Mary Beth.
Sure.
For folks who may not know it, how did you get started out in the town and is like the municipality? What attracted you to wanting to work at Town Hall?
Okay, so I've lived in Whitman basically my whole life, and I was in mutual funds, and a job opportunity came up in the collector's office for the clerk and the collectors, and that was December of 2003. And I started out as the clerk, and then I moved on to the assistant collector, and then the town collector, and then the treasurer, Victoria Mulligan, retired, so the town decided to merge the two positions to treasurer collector, and so I took over as the treasurer as well. And I will be hitting 20 years in December of this year.
How difficult of a job is that when it comes to overseeing the finances of the community, or making sure that every dollar that's taken in is accounted for, and being able to say to the town administrator or the board of selectmen, yeah, we're on par and everything is going well in this particular office that I'm in?
So I had a great staff. I always had a wonderful staff, and the main focus is reconciliations, just making sure that the receivables, everything that we take in the collector's office, and the cash reconciliations in the treasurer's offices are reconciled on a regular basis. So you always know exactly where you are with the money coming in, and every penny that comes into the town or goes out of the town goes through either the collector's office or the treasurer's office, or both.
How about you, Kathy? How did you get involved? I believe that you were an assessor for many years, right?
Yeah.
And the principal assessor?
At one point, yes.
Yeah.
So, after being an at-home mom for many years, it was time to head back to work. And I'll be honest with you, the attractiveness of Whitman Town Hall was, at the time, a 4-day work week, which was great, Fridays off. So I applied, and I got the job as the administrative assistant to the then principal assessor, Carol O'Brien. I was there for 3 years. Carol decided to retire, and I stepped up to take that position from Carol, and did so, and have done that for 17 years.
Talk about how many years. So how many years collectively were you serving in that role as principal assistant?
So 17 years. So which brings me to right now. I've just actually taken the role as the assistant town administrator this past June. So I'm brand new.
So what was that? What was it like going from principal assessor to becoming the assistant town administrator? Did you ever think in all your wildest dreams as
No.
a stay-at-home, I am going to be someone who, a lot goes through this office.
Oh, I feel so fortunate. No, never in a million years did I think that I would be here. Am I happy that I'm here? I'm so happy to be here. Still have to pinch myself some days, but yet here I am, and I'm going to give it my best.
How about you? What was it what was the appeal? What was the interest in becoming the town administrator? All the years as being the collector, the treasurer collector. What was it about the position?
Well, actually, I never, ever even thought about being the town administrator. I was treasurer collector, and I'm in my hometown, and that was wonderful. I always watched Frank Lynham, everything he did, and I actually moved on from the treasurer collectors to Norwell to be the treasurer collector for about 5 months. And then this opportunity came up, and it was just wonderful to go back to my hometown to work with Frank Lynham for, a few months before he retired for the second time, was wonderful. And the fast pace that I always kept as a treasurer collector, those roles were so fast that it trained me well for this position. It really did. It was great. But I have to say that it is so busy. We deal with so many different things each and every day. You never know what's coming in the door, or when you pick up that phone, we're dealing with just a variety of issues, as you know. And I really enjoy it.
What's the sense of pride in your position in doing it for a community that you love, Kathy?
Oh, I feel like it's everything. I think, when I get up in the morning, I want to do the best job that I can possibly do. Not only for myself, not only for the people in the town, but for Mary Beth as well. So, there's a feeling of accountability, more so to yourself, but everyone else.
Same question, Mary Beth.
Very similar to Kathy. I mean, we enjoy what we do, and we've known each other for 17 years. So working with somebody who has your work ethic and thinks like you and works like you, and Kathleen and I have worked closely together over the years, I knew that we'd make a great team to get things done. And so we feel a sense of accomplishment, and we want that in the next 5 years, however long we're in these positions. We really enjoy it.
It's almost as though, you always want to have somebody who's going to work and have the same mindset. It's almost as though maybe what is it like to find somebody who has the same, you can bounce things off of, and you feel confident in whatever she's saying to you is something like, oh, I feel good about this decision, or moving forward with this particular item.
It's everything. And to be honest with you, I think that Whitman is in a very unique situation because Kathy was a former assessor. That is just great knowledge when we are doing budgeting and planning or looking at opportunities or the different things that come before us. But where I'm still here as a former treasurer collector, we have 2 treasurer collectors right now, basically. I mean, I'm the town administrator with treasurer collector experience. I feel we have 2 assessors. One is the assistant town administrator, but great assessing experience. And our town accountant actually moved down to take my former role as treasurer collector, and we have a new accountant. So unlike any other town, we have almost double reinforcement in a lot of areas, and I think it's going to prove to be very helpful.
What would you say has been the most interesting part of the job? Every job has the fun things, and then there's those things where I didn't expect that to happen, or I didn't expect that we'd be tackling something like this, Kathy.
Oh yeah, so I'm just going to say the gamut of topics that cross my desk now in this position is like nothing I could have imagined. Some days I find myself laughing at it. Some days I find myself scratching my head about it. Yet it keeps the job fresh and interesting. And then there's that sense of accomplishment when you are able to resolve something. Issues come to this office that are problematic, and being able to resolve that, great feeling.
How about you? Anything interesting during your time as the town administrator that you're like, I didn't think I would end up, seeing an item like this that I would be helping someone to solve or find a remedy for?
Actually, there's a lot about it because really, as a treasurer collector, we did a lot of the same things, and probably as an assessor as well. A lot of the same functions that you do, each quarter, each month, And here, it's just the variety of it. I mean, from the Peaceful Meadows to the Whitman Middle School to South Shore Vo-Tech to, the budget. I mean, there's just a lot going on, and I seem to enjoy that variety.
I'm going to use kind of a firefighter analogy, and that is mutual aid, and that is your ability to talk to other town administrators or town managers or ATAs or ATMs. Have you had a chance? I know Lisa Green, who was formerly in this office, is now the TA over in Hanson. Scott Lambiase, who was once a selectman, somebody who served on the FinCom here in Whitman, now is a town manager over in Abington. What is it like to be able to, people who were once in this town and someone that maybe you had conversations with, somebody, if you had a question, that you're able to reach out and say, hey, you know, I'm working on something like this. Have you encountered this? And what did you do to solve it?
I do that all the time. So I've picked up the phone and spoken to Scott Lambiase over in Abington. We were just dealing with Lisa Green on a busing issue for Bristol Aggie. I was in Norwell and worked for Darlene Sullivan, town administrator over there. I'll pick up the phone and call her. So networking is so important, and it's so important that you know some of these people and just can pick up that phone and collaborate. It's great.
Let's talk about the ladies leading the way. I think it's fantastic that the dynamic between you two ladies, the years of experience, and knowing that you're doing a great job running this town and being the liaisons to the Board of Selectmen or the Select Board to give them information and keep them up to speed. Kathy, what's it like to be in your position, being a woman and being somewhere at the top of the municipality these days?
Oh, it feels great. And I'll say it feels empowering in a humble sort of way, if that makes sense at all. But you know, you're self-aware of the responsibility that you have, and I just think I can speak for this whole office that there is a conscientiousness to do your job well. And when everybody feels that and executes that, it's fantastic.
Same question for you, knowing that you are the top when it comes to the municipality and being the one who oversees the department heads. What's that like?
It's awesome, but I mean and I don't mean awesome in a wonderful way. I mean it is an awesome responsibility. We take it very seriously. Kathy and I have had many discussions that we just want to give 110% every day that we're here. We want to improve communication among the department heads. We want to implement some new ideas and changes. There's a lot that we want to do, and we're on the same wavelength and thinking. And we have an executive administrative assistant, Lori O'Brien, another woman in this office. We all work so well together. We all get along well. It's a positive environment.
Let's talk about some of the things that have happened in the community. Probably the first and foremost, the community accepting redoing the town highway, the highway department building. Yes. The importance of that. That's something that has been put forth to the community repeatedly. Finally, voters, what was it like? I'm pretty sure you were able to work on that and be a part of that, regardless whether you were the town collector treasurer or as the town administrator. Mm-hmm. What was it like to finally have folks be confident enough to spend the money for a department that does such a great job for the community?
Oh, they do such an important job for our community, and they are all great people. I'm thrilled. It took 3 times, I believe, for this project to pass. I am on the DPW Building Project Committee. So I am thrilled. We just went out, the bids came in, the general bids on that. The bids came in a little bit over, and so now we're working on a solution for that. But no, it's great, and I'm so thrilled for the DPW employees to finally have a brand new facility that they so deserve. It's great.
Probably the other thing I would say was kind of interesting, and that is having a TV station come and do a big event. We're talking about Boston 25 coming and taking over the park for a day and doing a zip trip. Did you have a chance to go outside and mingle and see what was going on out in the back?
I was there. It was quite an experience, very invigorating, and it's amazing. As you know, the behind the scenes for television, it's quite an orchestration, really. Yes.
So what was it like to see Mary Beth Carter be somebody who does not look to gravitate towards the camera and want to be front and center. She's somebody who wants to be helping to make things happen behind the scenes. It was like to see her be on camera and do so well.
She did step up to the plate as she had to, and she did so with grace, and you never know that she might have been a tad nervous on the inside.
You definitely wouldn't. I thought you did an amazing job. What was going on inside of Mary Beth Carter when you were talking to Elizabeth and having your moment on camera?
I was surprisingly calm, though, because I was in our town park. I knew what the topics, that might come up. I mean, I just felt comfortable with the information. I thought it was just a wonderful event. It was a beautiful day. We had a great turnout. It was such a positive. I wasn't that nervous, actually.
How important is an event like that to bring the community? Because there were a lot of folks who actually gravitated towards the park just to not only to see what was going on with the different TV personalities, but there were other organizations that line the walkways of the park to kind of make people aware of some of the things that go on in and around the community if they need assistance or want to know more about certain items.
Mm-hmm. There were different, Mass Lottery was there, they had veterans, they had Mary Lou's, all kinds of different booths set up.
Community restaurant, town restaurants, right?
They featured McQuiggan's. They did a couple of restaurants on the patio there. Venus Cafe, they interviewed somebody there. They had quite a lineup. And it was well received.
Yeah, I feel like the takeaway from that was that Whitman has a strong sense of community. And for some of the folks that did appear in segments, like they reached out, they wanted to appear. So they're proud of their town and they wanted to put their town in the best limelight and also to get their organizations out there. Even like the Cultural Commission and the Mothers Club. They all wanted to get out there and make sure that people knew that this is what we have going on in the town.
What was the most memorable, interesting thing that happened during the day that will probably stay with you for the rest of your life, Kathy? Was there one? There had to have been one thing you're like, I won't forget that.
Well, there was. So at one point, I don't know who brought 2 parrots.
That's right. Exactly what you're going to say.
The parrots did their thing. The parrots did their thing, and
they relaxed.
They did relax.
They relaxed.
I don't know. I had to laugh at that.
Okay. How about you? Was there, other than being on camera, was there any particular moment or any segment that you saw and you're like, I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life?
Well, I think the Toll House cookie piece was fun, and I also thought that the trivia that Frank Lynham and Richard Rosen did.
Yes, Mr. Rosen was the lifeline.
He was the lifeline.
He was.
Yeah.
He's a townie, so I would trust.
Yes.
I would trust Richard.
So that was enjoyable. It was just a great day overall.
And the new police dog. So Nola is the new
comfort dog?
Police dog that in town. Just a puppy, but you walk anywhere with a puppy and you have fans following you around.
Let's talk about other news, and that is a lot of folks were concerned as of late this summer, hearing the word that Peaceful Meadows, a beloved a farm, family business, the family decided that they wanted to get out from the ice cream business or selling dairy or eggnog at Christmas, and they ended up auctioning off their property, not only the business but also the residentials across the way. Give me your thoughts when again you're in this position as the town administrator and you hear this news. What goes through your head when you hear of such news of a historical place that's could take the town in any different direction depending on what ends up happening?
Absolutely, and that was big news. That was very big news. The first afternoon, I think it was a Friday, that broke, and everybody was shocked. We didn't realize that, but that was going to be happening. Nobody really knew. But I believe the family, they opened that ice cream stand and the store in 1961. Their parents had run the business, and I think it's just time that they want to make some changes in their lives. But the first thing that came through my mind, the first thought is, who's going in next, what's going to happen. We did know, of course, that a large section, one of the properties, 55 acres, was agricultural land. And so we did know that if somebody bought that for a purpose to use for anything other than agricultural, that the town would have the first right of refusal. And when we did hear that John Hornster from Hornster Farms in Norwell was interested, that was like that would be the perfect answer. But of course he had to win the bid. So, it was quite a process. And as you know, he did. You know how they auctioned out the properties,
Yep,
the ice cream and then the land and then together.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was an absolute auction. So he won that, and the town is looking to put in a bylaw, a right to farm bylaw. From what I understand, Mr. Hornster would like to bring the cows all back, restore the ice cream stand and dairy store and barns, and possibly he mentioned that he may possibly enlarge the dairy store and add a bakery. I just think it's wonderful because it will become a destination again for the town of Whitman, and it is a destination in Norwell. It's just a wonderful place. And the other thing that we are looking into would be a conservation restriction for that property, which the town would purchase from Mr. Hornster.
Now, have you had a chance to also follow this story, and do you want to kind of give your thoughts on the, because it was one of those things you're like, oh my goodness, what is going to happen here? There's so many what ifs. You hope that someone is going to kind of keep it the same.
Right.
Right.
Well, so I think, for me, it was I kept expecting that the family was going to reach out to the town prior to the auction, and that didn't happen. And I don't know, whether that is normal course or not. But in the assessor's office, they do file under a chapter land application every year so that their real estate taxes are reduced by the virtue of the fact that the land is being used for agricultural purposes. So the question would be then, if that changes, that would change the scope of the real estate taxes, so on and so forth. So it's just a little anticipation of, is the land use going to change? If it does, how will that be affected? We have a new assessor on board, so just some conversations with the new assessor, as far as what may happen in the future. But until it happens definitively, you don't know.
So I'm going to stay with you, Kathy. The question is about town meeting. I want to get your take on, respectively, what is it like as a member of a municipality, a department, to have a role in town meeting? What has it been like, whether you're attending as a department head, someone who works in the department, or maybe as a resident? But I think you probably have enough years in that you're more so attending as someone who might have to get up to the podium and speak to either a line item or the overall budget or whatever it might be. What has it been like over the years for you to attend town meeting and kind of watch it as it happens?
Right. So first and foremost, I do not live in the town of Whitman. I live in the town of Hanson. So I am not able to vote on any of the articles. I do get permission from the moderator to sit in the audience, so to speak, rather than in a visitors section. But there's so much anticipation before town meeting as to trying to predict who will vote for what? If so, then how that affects things moving forward. So it's very exciting, and I feel like more often than not, your predictions or my predictions don't always pan out the way you think they're going to pan out. So it's just very exciting. And it's almost more interesting to me not having the vote. It's more of a perspective than maybe an in the ground working situation.
How about you? You've had a chance to serve in different roles within this town hall when it comes to putting forth, the annual budgets, and whether it's a different article in the warrant. What has it been like for you rising up through the ranks to now being the town administrator?
So for many years, it would be to prepare my departmental budget. So for the collector's office, that's a fairly small budget, and then the treasurer's. And then I got into, of course, borrowing articles and more things like that. So this past year was my first town meeting as the town administrator. Frank Lynham was still there at the meeting as the interim assistant town administrator there. But this will be the special town meeting coming up. I'll be running the show up there.
And do you feel you'll do it with a bit of confidence to be able to do it? Because I think between you collectively, all the years you have, all the experience, all the knowledge, to hear you when you're up there and you're talking, you guys, you're not talking with where you're nervous about it, but you have confidence. You know where every dollar is coming from, how it's being spent, and how it's being, how it's being put towards certain projects. So that, I mean.
That's true. And when I stepped in to this role, it was February, the end of February. So budget season was definitely underway. And of course, I was faced with, okay, we're, over budget here and we have to, make some cuts.
Nothing new.
So I said, give me a red pen and, we have to get the job done. So it was a really interesting time of year to step in, and it wasn't all your work. I stepped right in the middle of it. But to see it through, it was a tough budget year, but we made it through, and we'll be starting the fiscal 25 budget. I'll be sending out some information in September to get it started a little earlier this year, but I'm looking forward to it.
Probably one thing I would ask you, knowing that there's a shared school district, how does that play a role, again, knowing that you have so much experience, but yet you're seeing it with a different lens as the town administrator, as the assistant town administrator?
Absolutely. So we're looking at the total picture now. Instead of looking at just an assessor's budget or collectors or treasurers, we're looking at the whole picture. So it is much different. And of course, there are only so many dollars, to go around. And of course, the district has their budget and their needs, and they submit their assessment. And we have to just work together to come to a balanced budget. So,
is there anything that we haven't discussed during this kind of little feature of getting to know the town administrator, the assistant town administrator? Kathy?
Oh, I'm just going to say, for the folks, we have such an open door policy, and I feel like this office is very welcoming of comments, questions, reaching out for help. And if we can't help you right that second with an immediate answer, we will find the answer and get back to you. I feel like our motto is to really serve the folks. And we hope that they end up walking away from our office feeling just that way.
Mary Beth, anything that we haven't touched upon, or any surface we haven't scratched that you want to kind of touch upon before we say something in closing?
Well, the big things right now that we're facing, as we mentioned, we're going into a budget season now. We just had Peaceful Meadows. We had that auction take place. The DPW project has passed, and so that's moving forward. The Whitman Middle School is coming up for the special town meeting, that item there. So, we want to make sure that it's a great school for the students, and also a project that is affordable by our population, our residents, for the parents of the students, the grandparents, the seniors, the low income, everybody. And then the other project down the road is South Shore Votech will be building looking to build a new school. So Whitman has 24% of enrollment. Therefore, we'll have 24% of that debt when that comes to fruition. So there's a lot to consider in the big picture of the budget.
Right, and for folks who don't know, Whitman is one of 9 communities that share in the expense of building that. And I feel that South Shore Votech has done an amazing job with the building that they have. They got 2 buildings that were built at 2 different times, and for them to be looking to do additional, it's definitely worth it, knowing that the trades are need these days. It's the investment that's needed. Anything you want to say, Kathy, in closing, to the folks who are watching this right now?
Oh, I'm thrilled to have this opportunity to actually work for you in this position. I loved being the assessor for the years that I did, but this is just such a great 180, if you will. And so I'm just so pleased to have the opportunity to do so.
Same with you, Mary Beth. Anything you want to say as we wrap up this great segment?
I'm just honored, really thrilled to be in this position as town administrator, especially to have Kathy as assistant town administrator. I feel that we make a great team. We just want to make a positive impact on the community while we're here. You know, I just want the community to remain as that hometown community. Having Hornstra Farms in Whitman is great. We want good schools and parks and employees and a safe environment that our residents can afford.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I want to thank you both for the privilege to be able to, as I said to you before the cameras were rolling, that this was kind of on my bucket list to be able to sit down with both of you ladies and talk with you about your fantastic roles serving this community and doing so in this historic building here, Whitman Town Hall.
Well, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. It's a
Good.
pleasure.
And we want to thank you for tuning into a program like this, Municipal Focus. The idea of this show is to keep you informed and up to date on many things that are going on. And again, don't forget, there's so many different other shows that we do under the Municipal Focus. Don't forget, we also do Crosstalk. If you ever have an idea for one of these programs, always drop a line at info@whca.tv. And until our next program, have a great day.